The biggest tropical rainforest in the world, the Amazon is renowned for its biodiversity and spans much of northeastern Brazil as well as Colombia, Peru, and other South American nations. Thousands of rivers, including the mighty Amazon, intersect it. River towns featuring 19th-century buildings from the rubber boom include Manaus and Belém in Brazil and Iquitos and Puerto Maldonado in Peru. The Amazon is made up of a patchwork of habitats and vegetation types, including rainforests, seasonal forests, deciduous forests, flooded forests, and savannas, reflecting natural circumstances as well as historical human influence. The Amazon River, the second longest river in the world after the Nile, and the greatest river in the world in terms of discharge, drains the basin. Over 1,100 tributaries make up the river, 17 of which are longer than 1,000 miles, and 2 of them, the Negro and the Madeira, are bigger than the Congo River in terms of volume. .526 million hectares of primary forest make up the majority, almost 84%, of the Amazon's 629 million hectares of total tree cover as of 2020. While the combined tropical regions of Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Malaysia, and Australia have 120 million hectares of primary forest and 216 million hectares of tree cover, the Congo Basin contains approximately 168 million hectares of primary forest and 288 million hectares of tree cover. When the continents of today's Africa and the Americas were connected as part of Gondwana, the Amazon River may have once flowed westward as a component of a Proto-Congo river system from the interior of present-day Africa. The South American Plate and the Nazca Plate collided 15 million years ago, creating the Andes. Waters carved through the sandstone to the west around 10 million years ago, causing the Amazon to start flowing eastward. The Amazon jungle began to exist at this time. Sea levels fell during the Ice Age. The South American Plate and the Nazca Plate collided 15 million years ago, creating the Andes. Tropical rainforests all throughout the planet began to shrink during the Ice Ages. Much of the Amazon is thought to have returned to savanna and montane forest, however this is debatable. Savanna separated existing species for long enough periods to allow genetic diversity, dividing areas of rainforest into islands. Similar rainforest retreat occurred in Africa. Even the powerful Congo watershed appears to have been devoid of rainforest at this time, according to Delta core samples. When the Ice Ages ended, the forest was once more linked, and the species that were once combined were now classified as separate species due to their substantial divergence, further enhancing the region's incredible diversity. When sea levels rose by about 130 meters about 6,000 years ago, the river was once more submerged, resembling a long, massive freshwater lake. The Amazon basin is home to the biggest tropical rainforest in the world, but it also has a wide variety of other ecosystems, from natural savanna to marshes. Even the rainforest itself exhibits a great deal of variation, with different tree species and patterns depending on the soil, its past, drainage, height, and other elements. In the section on the ecology of the Amazon rainforest, this is covered in more detail. More plant and animal species can be found in the Amazon than in any other terrestrial habitat in the world. Up to 30% of all species can be found there. Human settlement in the Amazon has a long history, but in recent decades the speed of development has quickened as a result of a rise in population, the use of mechanized agriculture, and the region's integration into the world economy. Human settlement in the Amazon has a long history, but in recent decades the speed of development has quickened as a result of a rise in population, the use of mechanized agriculture, and the region's integration into the world economy. More than 1.4 million hectares of forest have been cut in the Amazon during the 1970s as a result of this transformation from a secluded backwater to component of the global economy. Selective logging and forest fires have had an even greater impact. The main direct cause of deforestation is conversion for cattle grazing. In Brazil, pasture makes up more than 60% of cleared land. The majority of this low-productivity grassland supports less than one head of livestock per. The main goal of cattle ranching in a large portion of the Amazon is to create land claims. Nevertheless, market-driven cow production has grown significantly during the previous 10 years. Significant forest loss in the Amazon is also brought on by mining, subsistence farming, dams, urban growth, agricultural fires, and lumber plantations. The main cause of forest disturbance is logging, and studies have shown that logged-over woods, even those that have been selectively harvested, are significantly more likely to eventually lose their forests. Farmers and ranchers now have access to formerly inaccessible forest areas because to logging roads. The Amazon rainforest is still being destroyed, but the region's total deforestation rate decreased between the middle of the 2000s and the middle of the 2010s, largely because of Brazil's steep decline in forest clearing. However, in more recent years, deforestation has been rapidly increasing throughout the area. Amazon deforestation is increasing as Brazil prepares for its presidential election. Brazilian Amazon deforestation reached 1,450 square kilometers in September, a 48% rise over the same month last year, according to statistics released today. Amazon deforestation is increasing as Brazil prepares for its presidential election. Brazilian Amazon deforestation reached 1,450 square kilometers in September, a 48% rise over the same month last year, according to statistics released today. The Getty mission has been measuring the biomass density of Earth's forests using lasers from the International Space Station since 2018. The data enables us to comprehend how rising carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere caused by deforestation worsen climate change. The mission's data have identified particular regions in the Amazon rainforest that might benefit from carbon-based conservation. South America is the continent where the Amazon rainforest is found. The size of the Amazon basin is comparable to that of the 48 contiguous United States. In 2020, there were around 634 million hectares of forest, of which 529 million hectares were categorized as primary forest. The largest rainforest on Earth is the Amazon. The second largest rainforest is in the Congo. Eight South American nations are represented in the Amazon: Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, a French department. The Amazon River is located in various nations. Land may be private-owned, held by indigenous peoples in legally recognized regions, owned by collectives, managed by the government as national parks or public lands, or it may be any of these things within those nations. The Amazon River, also known as Rio Amazonas in Spanish and Portuguese, is the source of the Amazon rainforest. The word Amazonas comes from an old Greek story about a clan of fierce female warriors. After long-haired native people attacked Francisco de Orellana's expedition in the 16th century, he gave the river this name. The moniker came about because either ladies or men with long hair led the onslaught. Human habitation of the Amazon has a lengthy history. Millions of people now reside in the towns and cities that dot the Amazon. The people residing in cities considerably outnumber those in rural areas and small towns. However, traditional indigenous groups continue to live in seclusion deep within the rainforest. Find out more about the inhabitants of the Amazon rainforest. Many of these communities were found around whitewater rivers, where they had easy access to transportation, great fishing, and agriculturally productive floodplain soils. However, since Europeans used the great rivers as highways to the interior, these settlements were the first to be impacted when they came. The Amerindian population fell about 90% in the first century of European settlement. The majority of the remaining populations were either compelled by the European settlers to dwell there or had previously resided there in smaller groups. Native Americans still inhabit the jungles of America today, despite the population decline, even though almost all of them have been impacted by the outside world. The majority of Amerindians don Western clothing instead of the customary loincloths, to dwell there or had previously resided there in smaller groups. Almost no native group still hunts and gathers as they did in their ancient nomadic lifestyle. The majority of people farm crops, with fishing, hunting, and gathering providing a secondary or supplemental source of food. A typical family will have 2 gardens, a smaller one in a home with a variety of plants and a larger one, maybe covering an entire hectare and cultivated with rice, manioc, or bananas. Slash and burn, a traditional method of clearing the forest, is used to produce these plantations. Slash and burn is not very harmful to the forest when done properly.